How's it going, everybody? So, I've been doing a lot of extensive research on heart disease and different nutritional styles and different food groups, really, and cross comparing, I guess you could say, the results of different people eating different styles of diets, noticing the trends within each style of nutrition, and noticing the average outcomes of each nutritional style. I've always found it very fascinating going to the grocery store and looking at what different people who all look to be in different states of health, both mentally and physically, noticing what each of these different people are buying at the checkout lane at the grocery store. What type of foods are these people eating, right? And this, I feel, is one of the greatest habits you can have. If you really want to know the truth about nutrition and the health outcomes, the greatest observational scientific experiment that you can conduct. And I think observation is one of the most important aspects of science. Which, by the way, science doesn't have to be as cut and dry as a lot of people make it out to be. Okay, most people they call anything outside of the status quo or anything outside the mainstream consensus, they call it quackery. You know, they say it's not science, because it's not in line, because they disagree with it. They disagree with it, and it's outside the mainstream, commonly agreed upon paradigm, and for them, they claim it's unscientific because it doesn't agree with the most popular science. But this is usually just in health. Other forms, maybe, but mostly in health. And the fact of the matter is, science is observation, it is experimentation, it is theorization, theories, and it is comparing the evidence between all different studies and experimentation and whatnot, and it's using the experimentation and the observation to determine different outcomes and create different results to test theories, okay? It's observation, it's experimentation, and it is comparing data. That's what science is all about, okay? I'm just putting that out there. So, when you are observing people's nutrition and paying close attention to these people's results and outcomes, you are literally practicing science. Are you a scientist? No, you're not. Do you have a degree, a medical degree or a science degree? No, you might not, but I'm sure a lot of true scientists who really have an interest and passion for science probably do this on a regular basis. They probably can't help but play science in everyday life. So noticing the correlations, the strong correlations, actually it's pretty direct causation, I would say, because what people eat directly influences their health, but it's on a smaller scale compared to the useless observational studies of populations. See, population studies, you're just observing too large of a group of people with such general parameters and not controlling for specific factors and taking into consideration all the other variables, like, oh, this meat eating population, do they eat sugar? Do they eat flour? Do they exercise? Do they eat potato chips? How much vegetable oil do they eat? How much water do they drink? How much soda do they drink? How much meat are they eating without being deep fried in vegetable oil, without French fries that are deep fried, without drinking sodas on the side? It's hard to say meat causes cancer when the population you're studying all the meat eaters you're referencing are also drinking soda, and they're also eating French fries, and they're eating deep fried processed meats. But that's what vegans run off of, and they just go with it. Really sucks. For them, at least. Because it's not seeking truth. But you can definitely tell what people eat. Or you can tell the results that a certain diet will give you based on constant observation of people's grocery carts and what they're buying at the checkout line. And you can tell if somebody's in a good state of health if you really understand what health is. You can start up a conversation with the person and you can see how their cognitive and social functionings are. Some people experience extreme anxiety. Some might have skin problems. Most of them will be overweight or have bloated stomachs. They might have flushing of the face, which usually indicates a hormonal issue. Lots and lots of information. Okay, you can get a lot of benefit out of these things. So, whenever you're at the grocery store, you should just take a look at what people are eating. And for your own benefit, notice the correlations, okay? And don't be stupid. Don't be one of those people who are just like, oh, they're buying conventional produce and they're fat, so it's probably the GMOs in their vegetables. Like, that probably is not true. It's probably something else. They're probably they probably are also buying a shit ton of candy or a shit ton of sodas or something. Pay attention to the entire thing. But really, only a dumbass would make stupid correlations that don't really make sense. But the fact is, a huge percentage of the population seems to be pretty ignorant in that regard, pretty moronic and lacking extreme basic common sense to where they can't really connect the dots properly. And I'm sure a lot of it is nutritional deficiencies. So, yeah, look at how much meat are they eating, how much vegetables are they eating, how much fats are they eating, what type of meats, what type of fats are they eating, what type of sugars are they eating, how much artificial flavorings and preservatives are they eating. And if you feel like this is like creepy or something, that's a strong indication that you probably have extreme social anxiety and there's some weird insecurities within yourself. Like, for me personally, I'm not scared of people looking at the things I'm eating or even looking at me in public. It'll make me curious, like, why are you looking at me? But the only reason I would feel guilty for looking at other people is if I would expect them to feel guilty for looking at me. And that's, interesting enough, that's I guess you'd say a form of projection. When you expect other people to act a certain way, it's because you feel like you should expect yourself to act that way as well. If you expect other people to feel uncomfortable for you looking at their grocery cart, chances are very great that you feel uncomfortable when people look at your grocery cart. And why? Why are you allowing yourself to be so sensitive? You should definitely work on building mental character. But anyway, enough of my tangents, I guess. You can tell a lot about nutrition by observing the people you know and what they eat. I can tell you, most people that suffer chronic diseases, they suffer from chronic diseases not because of meat, not because of eating whole grains or nuts or seeds, unless it's digestive issues. Those can cause Crohn's and other issues like that. Irritable bowel syndrome can be caused by plant foods. It's not about that. It's not about the fruit. It's not causing most chronic disease. Most chronic disease is caused by unnatural foods, vegetable oils, and a lot of overt fats of all kinds, sugar, hydrogenated oils, deep fried foods, potato chips, those kinds of things. And sodas. Leave your questions and comments down below. Subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.